Hello everyone, Tony here. It's very lucky for me to have this chance to share with you our latest project, Praditor. So it's actually a speech onset detector that can help you find out the boundary between silence and sound automatically. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to download Praditor and how you can play with Praditor. So in terms of download Praditor, you can go to our official GitHub repo, Praditor, Praditor. And to find out the latest update of software. So it's gonna be here in a release page, and you can also go down here in the readmes. So we can have it here. We have the download Praditor, but you can go here. It's the same as the release page. So here the latest version is 1.3.0. And if you're a Windows user, you can just download a full version, live version, whatever it is. They're the same. Instead, that in the full version we have SK there embedded, but in live version, the package itself is smaller, but we use the same function, but without the SK there embedded. But if you're Mac OS user, remember your system must be over 15 and with M series chip. So you can download here the ARM64 version, Mac ARM64 version of it. But if your system is like, for example, under 14, or if your Mac is Intel chip, so you're gonna use the Praditor version 1.2.0 with the Universal 2 architecture. So this Universal 2 architecture will be compatible with your system. If your system is under 14, Mac OS 14, and or if you're Intel chip. And for example, if you want to download the software, you can go here. But if you want to also download menu, you can go here. We have two menus here, which I'll be talking about them later. And here I'm Windows 11 user, so I will download the Win 11 version of it. So if you're Mac OS users, and especially if you're new to downloading third-party software in your Mac OS, you might want to learn how to do that. So we prepare you this guidance here, so you can follow this guidance to download third-party. You can bypass certain security settings here. Of course, you can enable them back, but you might want to use this guidance if you're new to Mac OS. So here I'm using my the language of my Windows system is Mandarin, but if you're using English or Japanese or whatever language, it's pretty much the same setting. I think same steps. I think you want to keep this executable file. Yeah. So yeah, open it. So the first time you open it, it's gonna take you a slightly longer time. But the next time you open it, it's gonna be way faster, I think. And for new, I think for new users of Praditor, you only need to know, the first thing you need to know is how to import file and how to run the software. The first thing is import. So you go to file, go to read file. So here we're gonna choose our example audio file, the test audio. So the test audio, you can also find the test audio here on the on our GitHub repository. So in this folder, test audio, you can find out all the example audio we prepare for you. So I'm using the test audio wave here. So here it's gonna the wave signal. It's the waveform here. It's your audio file. So if you want to get the annotation based on these parameters, the blue one is the onset, the green one is the offset. So these two sets of audios is based on these two sets of audio, you're gonna run yourself a result. Like the blue one is the onset and the green one is the offset. So that's pretty much it. If you want to learn how, that's the simplest operation you need to learn. And then if you say, hey, I don't want to run, my audio file is a little bit big, so it's too large that I don't want to run I want to just test how many onsets are there. So you can just use the test. So for example, I clear here. So using the test function, you can just get like approximate number of what there might be 4 onsets and there might be 4 offsets with these 2 sets of parameters. So sometimes there'll be more onsets than offsets or more offsets than onsets because we're running onset annotation and offset annotation in 2 different sets of parameters. But remember, offset annotation in Praditor is just the onset annotation on the reversed audio file. So basically the the algorithm stays the same, but there'll be 2 sets of parameters, 2 sets of results. There might not be strict 1-to-1 correspondence here. So you might want to be careful with that. So if you're done with this specific audio file, you want to go to next. In the same folder, you can just hit next, or hit previous, go to the previous one. And if you say, hey, I'm done with this, I don't want to see this annotation, I want to just clear them on this screen, you can hit the clear here. And if you want to bring them back, just hit show. So clear show, these 2 buttons, they do not affect the final test grade. So the final result is stored in test grade. So these 2 buttons do not affect the test grade. So now let's see the results we've just run. So we've just run the test audio.wave here. So let me just open it in the prod. Yeah. So here, Praditor will generate a text grade file here. So there'll be 2 pointers, the onset pointer and the offset pointer. Just as I said, that there's no strict 1-to-1 correspondence. So what I would suggest you to do is to double check the results and then write yourself a script, maybe a Python script or prod script to combine these 2 pointers into one interval-tiers. But remember, you always need double check. Yeah. So the now that we've known these 6 buttons, we also have this blue button and the green button. So they are for enabling. So sometimes you don't want offset results, right? So you only want onset results. So what we can do is that you can disable, for example, you can disable the offset and you hit run. So now you've only got yourself the onset results. You won't have any offset results. We can sort of reload. I think let's reload it here. Yeah. So now you only have onset results. You do not have any offset results. And the last 4 buttons, they are used for you to save and reset your parameters. So we have 2 modes, the default mode and the current mode. The default mode, when you save these parameters on the default mode, so these parameters, for example, let's save it here. So these parameters, they will be saved under the same folder as where you store the software, and it will be stored in the params.txt. And this is the one we've just saved. So this is a default mode. And the next time you open the software, it's going to load these parameters you've just saved. And when you save the current parameters under the current mode, it will be saved as the same file name as your audio file in this txt file. So this is when you save under the current mode. So it'll be saved specifically to this audio file. And sometimes when you're playing with these parameters and you say, hey, I want to go back to the parameters I've just stored, what can I do? You can hit the reset. So the reset button would read this txt file from the current mode or from default mode. There'll be, if it's under the current mode, it will go back to the same, the txt file with the same file name. So if you're reset under the default mode, you will go back to the params txt here. So just read back from the txt file. And here the last button. So this button is used to roll back to the last set of parameters you've just run. For example, so now I've run these set of parameters, and now I'm going to change the parameters. I'm going to run a new set of parameters. Yeah, then I hit run. So what the last can do is that, okay, I'm now I'm not content with this set. I'm going to roll back to the last set, and I can hit last. So you go back to the last set. And when I hit last again, you will go back again. So basically, it will store two sets of parameters. It allows you to roll back to the last one you've just run. Yeah, that's pretty much for these buttons. And now I think we've come to the audio signal. So you can play with the signal. You can actually zoom in and zoom out. So if you want to zoom, you can use keyboard and mouse, of course, and you can also use the touchpad and keyboard. So if you're using keyboard and mouse, what you can do is that you can, for example, if you want to zoom in and out at amplitude, you can just use the wheel on your mouse, wheel up and down, wheel up and down. So if you want to zoom in and out at timeline, you can hit Control if you're a Windows user, or you can hit Command if you're a Mac OS user, zoom in and out. So you hit Control or Command and you wheel up and down, wheel up and down. Yeah. If you want to move the signal forward through time, you can hit Shift and wheel up and down. Yeah. So it's basically wheel up and wheel down combined with other keys like Control, Command, or Shift. And in case you're using the touchpad, so the touchpad operation is, I remember I've written in here. Yeah. So touchpad, it's combined with the two finger gestures. So using two finger gestures, control the amplitude or the timeline. Zoom in. So you're using two fingers moving up and down. It will be zoom in and out at the amplitude. And if you are expanding using two fingers to expand or to shrink, it will be zoom in and out at timeline. But here's the thing, that this works for Windows, but it does not work for Mac OS. And we think the problem might be that this gesture are conflicts with the system's gesture. So it actually zooms in and out in the system. So it zooms in and out in your screen, I think. And we haven't found a way to figure that out, but and then we think maybe we could use the Command I and O, just like we would do in Prot. So in Prot, you use Control I or Control O, or Command I or Command O to zoom in and out. So here is Control I or Command I, Control O, Command O. Yeah. So this is a way of us. This is alternative solution for you if you can't use two finger to zoom in and out at timeline. Yeah. So if you're gonna move forward and backward through time in timeline, just using two fingers to move left and right. Yeah. And the last part would be these 9 parameters. And I'm not gonna go very detailed about these parameters, but we have prepared you with this fine-tuning guidance. So if you only want to know the relationship between you tuning a specific parameter and its direct effect, you can just go to the quick fix here. The very first section of quick fix is telling you that if you have too many or too few onsets, what you can do. If the quality is not good enough, what you can do, what kind of parameter you should look for. Yeah, that's it. But if you want to know a little bit more detailed about what's this parameters doing, what's its relationship, how it functions, so you can go to the second section of quick fix. here. So we're going to give you a little bit more detail about why this is working, why this parameter is working under a specific situation, right? And then if you want to know a little bit more about the algorithm and what's the role of these parameters playing in the Praditor's algorithm, you can always go to the parameter, the params marked down here. So here we're going to tell you what's the algorithm and how each of these parameters take part in the algorithm, how they functions in the algorithm. Yeah. So you can always go to the fine-tuning guidance, or you can download them in the release page here. Here. You can download them here. But I think that for rookie users, you don't have to learn everything. I mean, you just need to know if you tune a specific parameter, it's going to have a certain effect. You just know that, and that would be all for you. Of course, it would be helpful if you know the details, if you know the algorithm, but it's not necessary. Yeah. And here we separate these two groups of, we're trying to tell you that they are different. They are two different groups of parameters. The gray ones are the parameters you use to denoise. And the dark one, the black ones, are used for you to define what it means to be an onset in your project. So here, the denoising parameter, the low pass, high pass, they are the bandpass filter. And for you to filter out the unwanted noise here. Some frequency, you do not need all the frequency bands. You only need the middle part with the high contrast. Yeah. So we also have the kernel smoothing here. It's also a technique for you to make the signal smoother, so you can have better performance algorithm. And here, the dark one, the EPS controls the number of onsets. For example, if you want more in-speech pauses annotated, you can always tune it up, and then when you hit run, yeah, it's gonna give you the in-speech annotation here. You might want to play with that. It's a little bit trickier here, but if you don't want the in-speech annotation here, you can just turn it down, and hit run. Yep, they'll be gone. And then for these four here, they're used to control the quality of the annotation, especially we're using thresholding methods. So the threshold here controls, if you, for example, I'm going to show you the threshold here. The threshold parameter actually controls the like, if you move it up, the threshold is going to be higher. If you move it down, it's going to be lower, right? You don't need. So this is a little bit tricky for you if you're annotating and aspirating on a consonant. Example, this might be, yeah, let's give it a go. So if you tune it up, so it will be late annotation here. So it's not good enough. So you want to tune it down. Yeah, it's going to be right here, right before, right at the onset, the actual onset. So yeah, so these four are used to control the quality here, onset quality. And you want to combine with the quick fix here to tell you, okay, if the quality is not good enough, what can I do? What parameter can I choose? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all for the instruction. We have these manuals. You can always download them. And I hope that Praditor can be helpful in your project. I use Praditor in my own projects, and they are saving me a lot of time. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening. You can always contact me if you have any questions about the details of the algorithm, or simply you want to know how to tune the parameters. Feel free to contact us, and thank you very much for watching this video.